If you're thinking about moving and you want to learn about what everyday life is going to be like in your new town, this is the place for you. On Open House, we sit down with local, top producing real estate agents to help you find the best places to live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you don't want buyer's remorse and you want to find your dream town, we are here for you. So go ahead and book a free call with us and we'll help guide you to the area that is right for you. Now, let's jump in and learn about your new home.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Open House. I'm Mike, and today we're going to be talking with Jennifer Singleton, a local resident and expert in Round Hill, Virginia. We're going to be covering everything from homes to entertainment. So, Jennifer, thank you for coming on the show today. To kick things off, how long have you been a realtor?
19 years, actually.
What got you into realty?
I was 21 when I first got into it, and I realized that I knew the area that I was living in like the back of my hand, and I needed to get through college. And so real estate seemed just like the perfect plan for me. And my parents, who were both real estate brokers in California, urged me to get my real estate license. They said I'd be good at it.
Yeah, it's one of those things for a lot of people. I think it kind of the same way that you did it, where it starts off as like, oh, I'll do this to help get by to the next thing, but it turns out real estate was the thing the entire time. You just didn't know.
Right. I got a degree in communications, public relations, but I sell real estate.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue communications fits in there a little bit, but you probably knew what you were doing long before you got that degree.
Right.
Right. So talking about Round Hill, it's a relatively small town, but I think a lot of people now are really starting to value their space and their freedom, when it comes to where they're living. What's the kind of, general vibe of the area?
Well, most of Round Hill, it does have some subdivisions in it, but most of it is rural. And we live in western Loudoun County, so we're right there at the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Shenandoah River. And it's a lot of open space and gravel roads, but it's only 45 minutes to an hour to get to DC. So it's not far to get to the city if you want the city life. And on the weekends, a lot of the city people come over and visit us and come see our farms and our vineyards. We're loaded with vineyards in Round Hill.
Now, when it comes to work, is there a lot of people commuting out of Round Hill?
Yeah, Round Hill is a big commuting town. People, there aren't any jobs unless you're working at the local vineyards or breweries, which we do have a lot of. But that's kind of the only jobs around Round Hill. So most people work in Ruston all the way east to DC even. And people commute from Round Hill to Ruston or Turndon to Tyson's Corner all the way to DC. So yeah, there's just not a lot of jobs in Round Hill, but you have that quiet community that people want, and the school systems are excellent. So, I mean, the average person that lives in Round Hill is between age 30 to 50 that move there, and they just want to grow their children up somewhere where it's nice and quiet and they can make some good friends and have quality time with them. And there's a lot to do in Round Hill too. So
when you kind of look at Round Hill on the map, you can kind of see that it's almost, centrally located in between a lot of other things. Like it's got its own little corner, its own little spot there, but there's so many larger cities and towns just kind of all spread out around it, which is kind of good because you end up kind of centrally located, and there's actually for someone who doesn't mind a commute, and honestly, if you live in the DMV and you have a 45-minute commute, you're way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
some of the nice things about living in Round Hill is that you have Middleburg, which is about 20 minutes away, which is equestrian living, and all the horse estates and the horse barns are there. You also have Leesburg, which is the next biggest town over, which is only 15 to 20 minutes away. And so you have a little bit of everything. And then, but the greatest thing is in the world is that we just have these vineyards that people love with great views. And so most of the people come down, and I even have an Airbnb that I run as well as selling real estate. And the people in our Airbnb are typically from DC to Philly, from New York, as well as all around the world. And they come out to Round Hill just because it's just this great escape away from the whole world. It's just relaxing, and it's a great escape.
It's one of those things that I don't think I appreciated, even as someone who's grown up in the area in the DMV, is that Virginia has a lot of really beautiful areas, and you kind of have to dive in to really see that. And especially now, I think that industry in and of its whole has boomed a lot in the past 15-20 years. But yeah, the amount of like beautiful wineries, breweries, and things like that are just kind of popping up everywhere because they realize, like, oh, it's very scenic stuff, especially when you're near the mountains like that.
Yeah, they're all over Western Loudoun County area. So people come down for the tours, and they'll just go from one vineyard to the next vineyard, and people love that.
Another thing that I think, a younger me didn't realize was such a priority, but an older me finally understands, is the education system is infinitely important when people are determining where they want to move to, because they put, as you get older and you start, your kids get older, you really start putting a high value on where they're getting their education.
Well, that's actually a really good comment. For Round Hill, we have 2 elementary schools, we have 2 middle schools, and 2 high schools because of all the growth. So the town has really grown a lot in order to open up all those, but they're opened up in Round Hill and in Percival. And we also have a charter school that was just opened up a few years ago too in Hillsborough, which is right around the corner from Round Hill. But another big point is Round Hill and Percival are one of the a lot of people come here to homeschool because we have the Homeschool Legal Defense Association right in our backyard in Percival. So that once that opened up 20, 30 years ago, people just started moving here because they had the homeschool community. So we have a gigantic homeschool community, people that live here. And we also have a college right in our backyard in Percival, which the Homeschool Legal Defense Association started. And it's just a lovely legal and political school that people attend to. So we have that as well. So the education is just outstanding out here in Western Loudoun.
And especially when you're in a smaller area, it seems like inevitably your schooling and the system is going to be better because you're not dealing with the overcrowding of a densely populated area. You know that there's going to be, anywhere you go, there's going to be, a dedicated amount of resources to your child and their education. And
we have an incredible resource. Loudoun County is one of the richest counties in the country. So you have, let's see, the average income out here is about $120,000 just to live in Loudoun County. And the school systems are, I mean, outstanding because the people really care about their children and putting a lot of money into the system. So it's fantastic putting your kids in the schools here. I have 4 kids, and I've had them all go through the Loudoun County Public Schools. My youngest is 8 and still in the Round Hill Elementary School and having an amazing time. And my son is 10 and he's in 5th grade in Round Hill Elementary. And we can't have asked for a better school. I mean, truly, you can't have asked for a better school. It's almost like private education, but with public school prices.
Yeah, that's definitely that's one of those things that is a massive advantage for someone, who's putting that as a priority to look at smaller towns and look at smaller areas to move, because those resources are just not as thin, and that translates all down the line directly to the children. Right. So when it comes to entertainment, I know that that's probably going to be a little on the thinner side, because I doubt there's, generally what I've noticed is when you have a place that has a strong communal sense in a smaller town, you're not going to have crazy nightlife. That's not what the place like this is about.
Well, yeah. So actually, we have all these vineyards and breweries, so there is quite a bit of nightlife actually for the younger people. And we have a lot of restaurants within 20 minutes of Round Hill, with German food and American food, French food. I mean, there's 2 restaurants within 20 minutes, 5-star French restaurants. And then we also have lots of Italian places to go to as well. So yeah, Round Hill's kind of known for pizza and burgers and beer. But within a 20-minute drive, you can get to really nice high-end restaurants, whether you're going to Middleburg or whether you're going in town to Leesburg, or if you're going to make it to Alexandria, for the evening or closer into the city, that's an extra 45 minutes to an hour. So yeah, but in Round Hill alone, there's not really many restaurants in Round Hill. It's a very small town, and if you blink, you'll be through the whole town as you're driving through it. So
I mean, to me, I like that, because there's nothing gives you the same feeling as driving through a downtown of a small city. Like if your place has a main street, it's probably a pretty cool place to hang out.
Yeah.
Anytime I can find a main street and walk down and, inevitably find something decent to eat, I'm going to find some random store with random things in it that I didn't know I needed, but now I don't think I could imagine my life without, stuff like that, where it's just
I don't know. Round Hill doesn't really have any. It just has a little, Main Street just has a little diner on it, and that everybody likes, Tammy's Diner. And then there's a little grocery store that makes subs and stuff, So
I don't know if
there's really not much on Main Street, actually. You have to go to Percival to get where the restaurants are. So
I don't know if there's a more reputable sounding diner than Tammy's Diner. That just,
she's owned it forever, since I was a kid, because I grew up in Round Hill. So I've been there since I was a child, and I've seen the town grow too. It's back when I went, there was only one school for Round Hill, and then Blue Ridge Middle School in Loudoun Valley. Now we have Harmony and Woodgrove, and a college. So we have college people coming in town too. So, it's changed a lot, but it still has its home feel. There are a lot of, for entertainment, there's definitely quite a bit of concerts that go on at the breweries, and that's kind of neat because it didn't used to be like that. But now it's grown so much that the young people want to have, concerts and stuff like that going on. We're only a few minutes away from an outdoor pool too, which is really neat because it has slides and everything. And it's called Franklin Park, and it's got doggy park. It has horse riding trails if you want to bring your horse, and it has an art center, and it has a theater, and that's all within close. So there is stuff to do.
Well, that's good, especially, I mean, pool, you want something for the kids to do, especially in the summertime,
Yeah.
to have that place to go. And I mean, you had me at bring your own horse. I didn't know that was a thing, but BYO,
We're a
here we come.
town.
Yeah.
Definitely an equestrian town. And right down the road is many fox hunts, so there's a lot of fox hunting going on, and that's a whole thing into itself. But I could go on about that for an hour because I'm an equestrian. So, but there's a lot of show jumping, and we got Middleburg right here next door. So, so we have people showing here from all around the world.
So
going to the Olympics and everything. There's also some really fun local events that Round Hill loves. It's Hometown Festival, and it has a hometown parade. They also have quite a few races and holiday events, and the town does caroling, and that's pretty neat when they go around the area. And Santa Claus comes around in a fire truck around Christmas time and goes through all the little neighborhoods, and the kids get all excited to see him. So there's a lot of little local community events we're proud of. During fall and spring, we also have big outdoor screen TVs set up so the kids can come and lay down on the grass and watch movies right there in the heart of Round Hill. So it's a fun town, just a fun community.
There's the catharsis you get from that small community feel that you kind of just don't really get other places where you feel like you genuinely know everybody to some extent. And it's like, there's definitely a lot to be said for that type of feeling and area where it's a great place to live. It always is.
And the other cool things is that it has its nature, which we have the Shenandoah River. So I often go down there with my kids, and we go tubing down the river, which is right next door. And we have Bear's Den, which is right up at the top of the mountain there. And that's a great hike that you can go to. And that's right in Round Hill. There's also Slater Lake, where people have little boats and they go boating around the little lake. And I think that's a pretty cool thing too. So, and we have so many creeks and ponds that people go fishing a lot, and so many trails for bikers and horses too.
Yeah, I was going to say, bring your own horse to this.
And there's plenty of playgrounds and all the trails and stuff sprinkled throughout Round Hill.
Yeah, it's nice to have a place where there's so much to explore.
Yeah, there is so much to explore in Round Hill.
Right, it's like there's always something where you can go on hike and be like, I don't know what's let's try this trail out. Let's go this direction. Let's see, and especially around the Shenandoah has so much of that, anyways.
Yeah, we have a few little secret places that not everybody knows about, but the people that have lived there for a long time know about. Such as we've got this really cool Shenandoah University.
You're spoiling the secrets now? You're throwing the secrets up? Okay.
Well, maybe I shouldn't share them all, but there's one where it's an old converted golf course, and it's turned into nature walks, and it goes right along the Shenandoah River, and it's just so fun to walk it, or we take our kids and go biking along it. You can get in quite a few miles, so it's really neat.
So what would you say the median home price in the area is?
I would say it's about anywhere from $400,000 to $600,000. $450,000 to $650,000 is the median house price. But there's a lot of different types of historic homes, plenty of farms. large single family houses in communities. So if you want the community feel, there is neighborhoods with community feel. They have the smaller homes right in Round Hill, and then on the outskirts of Round Hill, you have the much larger homes, the grand homes that sit on a couple more acres. But then you have the farms. There's plenty of farms that you can find in Round Hill that still exist. And and the historic homes are really neat, and some of them are haunted. So it goes, we have a lot of history in Round Hill. So,
So
you never know what you'll find.
I don't know if you put that on the brochure. The maybe haunted. We don't know.
You don't know. I saw a sign the other day in Round Hill that said, "Not haunted." They were proud of the fact that their house was not haunted.
Yeah, congrats, we got it. But that I don't know if that ups the value or lowers the value in that situation.
Depends, but yeah, those are for more of the historical homes that people are looking for. But there's plenty of brand new homes, and new home builds are still building in Round Hill. So there's definitely new homes that you can buy as well.
Yeah, and also I feel like the price to me kind of makes sense when you look at the average income, and you look at, you're probably going to, even in those communities, you're still going to have a decent amount of space to yourself. You're not just stacked on stacked on stacked. There's probably still going to be a decent plot, and that obviously is going to come out in the price. And then when you get out to those outskirts, when it's you're dealing with significantly more acreage, that all kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're paying for that land and that privacy.
Yeah. I live in Round Hill myself, and we have about 28 acres that we live on, and or 26 acres that we live on, and we have a pond and a tree house and a creek, and it's just, we've been there for 15 years, and I can't imagine living anywhere else. Even though I grew up in Round Hill, we're kind of on the Bluemont side, even though we have a Round Hill zip code. So I feel like I got away, but it's on the other side of Round Hill than I grew up on.
And now you've left your roots behind and gone the 2 minutes that way.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, but each area around Hill has its own vibe.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone looking to potentially move into the area, what would that piece of advice be?
To use a good real estate agent, someone like me that knows the area well, and somebody that can really help guide you through the process and guide you through the loan process, and know the area enough to know where the houses are and where the farms are. I think that's important. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that think that a real estate agent is a real estate agent is a real estate agent, but that's kind of not the case. And when you start dealing with them, more and more, you realize that finding one that actually knows the area and is proactive and can work with you, and also understands, not only understands the community and the area, but also is capable of understanding what you want as a buyer.
Right.
And kind of maybe even in some cases tempering your expectations as far as what you want and what's available to you or what you can get. Like that's all stuff that a good real estate agent is there for.
Right.
All right. Well, Jennifer, thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge of Round Hill with us today. I think we all learned something new between BYOH and haunted houses. I'm now much more intrigued. If you're thinking of moving to Round Hill, Open House can match you with a local expert like Jennifer from among our partner agents. Make sure to check out her contact information below and help her facilitate your next home buying experience. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.